Hello everyone, I'm so excited to bring you this video today because I feel like I've been promising a brow video forever, but right now I am so happy with my brow techniques, with my brow routine, that I feel confident and comfortable enough to share my tips and some of my secrets with you. I don't want to make this video too long. I know I always say that, but it's the truth, so I'm going to get straight into it. When it comes to my brows, I groom them myself. I have had them threaded before. I haven't done that in a while, to be honest. So I just clean them up on my own. I do have fine hair, so I'm always scared that if I go to the wrong person that my brows will get ruined for life, and I really don't need that sort of trauma, honestly. So I will clean them up. I will go in with tweezers and I would just clean up under the brow. I don't worry if I have a few hairs left over. That's not important to me. It's just those big or long hairs that make the difference. So once I have my shape under control, then I will go in with the scissors as needed. These are a pair of Morphe scissors. It can be any brow scissors. And what I like to do is take a spoolie, brush them up. If the hairs are much too long and I don't want like that editorial effect, I will trim them. For the most part, I try not to leave them too short. Like, I already cut them this week, so if you notice they're not all that long when I brush them up, that's fine for me. I don't need to cut any more from there. I do like to cut the inner corner, not too low, but just, you know, at a nice angle so that, again, my brows don't look crazy. Then I will go in with soap. For the soap brows technique, it's best that you use a clear soap, something that's glycerin based. You don't want to use a white bar soap because you will get some of that white residue on your brows. So this right here is actually a bar of Pears soap. I got it from a discount pharmacy in my local area. This tin was actually for a body balm, and what I did was just scraped it out of there. I cleaned it up very well. I melted the soap for like 30 seconds in the microwave, in a microwavable or a microwave safe container, and then I poured the liquid in here and I left it to solidify overnight. I was doing the soap brows method with Fix Plus, with setting sprays, with water. That's basically what you see most people do, but I found that my brows were still kind of too soft, or that I really wasn't getting that hardening effect that I wanted. It didn't really feel like a brow gel. I would even go in with hair gel, with the Got To Be gel, and they were just much too stiff that I didn't really like how my brow products were going on, like the powder or the pencils. I was just really over it. Then one day, and thank God I was really lazy that day, I had nothing but alcohol. This is my 70% alcohol from my kit. I had it sitting around and I was like, you know what? It's a liquid, right? All I need to do is just kind of melt this a little bit, or not so much melt it, but, you know, kind of turn it like liquidy or wet in order to do my brows. So I sprayed it a few times, and I'm going to demonstrate as I do this. And it actually doesn't wet it or make it all like, it doesn't lather it up too much as it would if you used water. And then I go in with a spoolie. This is just a bottom lash disposable mascara one that I use on my clients. I kept one for myself for my brows. It can be a regular mascara one, to be honest, but I just wanted to use this one. It's what I had on hand. And what I like to do is I start in the front and I start to brush them up. I don't like to go too crazy or too aggressive with this, because if I get too much residue here and if I don't clean it up before I start putting on my makeup, you're going to see a film there on the skin, and it's not going to make the brows look pretty, if that makes sense. So I go in and I just brush the hairs up. If you liked my recent fox eye makeup look, this is the exact same technique that I used. I tried to brush my brows as straight as I possibly could, or as angled as I possibly could. But on regular makeup days, I just follow the natural shape of my brows, the way that the hairs grow out. And see, even now, I'm already starting to feel them harden. They would have still been too wet had I used Fix Plus or water. and I'm just brushing again in the direction that the brow hairs grow, and I really like that. At this point, my brows are both practically dry and they feel nice and stiff, exactly where I want them to be. My favorite brow pencil at the moment, and it's actually quite affordable, and I loved it so much that I went and I picked up all the other tones for my kit, is the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim Pencil. These are great for the price that you get them at, and I actually got them at Ulta. Buy one, get one 50% off. And then on top of that, you can use your coupons, your $3.50 off, or if you have any rewards points. So really, I got these at a great deal. I used to say that the Morphe ones were my new favorite, but there was something about the tones in those that I wasn't crazy about. But these are the perfect tones. So very lightly, I go in and I kind of fill in those gaps, if any. You might think that I don't have any, but let me zoom you in. Since my brow hairs are fine, as I mentioned, I do like to fill in some of the areas. But you see, I still have texture. I still have like detail to my brows that they look like brow hairs without looking too fake. So really, I just go in with light strokes and I fill in my brow. Look at the difference already. I don't know if you guys can tell. This one looks more polished, more refined. It still looks natural, but see how it has a little bit more dimension than this one here. So I'm already seeing a spot here that I'd like to work on. The other thing that I love about using this technique, this silk brow technique, is that I use much less product on my brows and they don't look as exaggerated. Now, if that's the style that you like, you do you. I'm all for like whatever your preferred style is. But this is the method that I've been using. This is what I keep getting complimented on so much. And this is all I'm doing, you guys. And I'm telling you, you could probably do this whole thing for like $10, less than $10. That's it. Before, I used to spend so much time doing my eyebrows. It was ridiculous. Sometimes I do go a little bit overboard with like doing this, and I find that I can clean them up and perfect them when I go in with my eyeshadow base, and I'm almost always using the P. Louise eyeshadow base. So if I go over the line a little bit, or maybe if this brow, because I'm seeing now this brow is a little bit lower than the other, I will go ahead and fix it up later. So I'm almost happy with the brows. I just noticed that I had to fill in this inner corner here a little bit. And what I'm doing now, because this brush is practically dry, you might see some residue on it, but this brush is practically dry. And all I'm doing is just using the bristles. I could use the one that's on here, by the way, but I'm just using these bristles so that I could comb away any excess product that I may have applied. And I love my brows. I am telling you that I love my brows. I love this technique. The very last step, and this is completely optional, if you have thicker brow hairs than I do, like normal to thick hair, you may want to skip this step altogether. But since I'm a little bit extra, I like to take this brow bar. This is a product that I got in BoxyCharm a couple of months ago. In my BoxyCharm quiz, I did select that I have black hair, so I think that's why I received this one. I don't really use whatever this is over here, but the black and brown, I'll show you guys exactly how I do it. I'm all about dimension and not making everything look like just one color. So I go in with my favorite brow brush, and I'm so sorry if this is not available anymore. It's the Kat Von D number 75, which is meant for powder products. And she had, it's now been discontinued, but she had a brow powder that had like specks of shimmer in it, kind of to give the brows a lot of dimension. But I will go in with the black shade because I have cool black hair. And I will basically take that, look at the shape of this brush, and I will create strokes, very light strokes throughout the end of the brow. Very lightly. This is usually the part where I kind of go over where I drew on the brow strokes, and then that's why I have to go in and clean it up with like concealer or the brow base. But I'm trying not to add too many steps here to not overwhelm you all. So the black is primarily from the middle to the ends. I do like my brows to be a little bit darker. All this is doing is really just adding some color so that my brows aren't too light. If it looks a little bit dark now, don't worry. It's just because I'm not wearing any makeup. If I were wearing makeup, this would look absolutely beautiful, I promise you. The last thing that I do is that I take the black and brown and I kind of mix them together. I go back and forth, and I really tap off the excess because I don't want like really black brows up here. So kind of think of it as like an ombre effect without it being like too harsh or too noticeable. And there you have it. That's the last step. So that is all I do on my brows at this point, on the actual brows. As I mentioned, from there, I do go in with my P. Louise eyeshadow base to just perfect underneath my brows and to really prep my eyes for eyeshadow. I don't do the whole cleanup of the brows at the top. Another day, I will start a tutorial and I will show you all how, after I go from here, how I do my eyes and then how I move on to the rest of my face, how I avoid messing up the work that I've done here once I apply my foundation. But that's pretty much it for my brow routine. If I did all of this after I've applied my foundation and my concealer, it could get messy, especially with the soap. It's happened to me before where maybe I accidentally take too much of the soap or I start to kind of brush it into my skin, into the skin right above, and then it ends up just becoming a horrible mess that I have to clean up with a concealer brush later, and it just adds on to the time. This is something that I do to also save time. I hope you like how I did my brows. If you like videos like this, please let me know. I have lots of videos planned for you all, and we all know that I'm really into making content these days, so keep the suggestions coming. I am so thrilled to be able to share my little alcohol secret with you guys. And if you have any questions, as always, let me know. I am here for you. Thank you so much for watching and take care.